What's up guys, it's Ninja Turtle and I'm back today with another video. Today's video is going to talk about Marvel Future Fight. If you don't know anything about it, Marvel Future Fight is a game on mobile devices, iOS and Android, and I've been playing it since it came out. It's almost 2 years old now. I play it pretty much every day and I started being more committed to playing the game around June of last year of 2016. It's pretty much something I do all day long, every single day. So there will be more videos on Marvel Future Fight in the future. But today's video is going to start the first of what I'm going to pretty much say is a series of videos and speculating of the future content for 2017 for Marvel Future Fight. Now, just to make it clear before we get started again, it is complete speculation. This is not based off of any Reddit post or any inside details or is something from a forum or anything like that. It's all my personal ideas. My educated guesses is based off of how I feel the game content has gone in the past and what you can expect based off of future events and so on. And today's video in particular is going to be focused on the Guardians of the Galaxy. Why the Guardians of the Galaxy? Well, they have a new movie coming out in May, the first weekend in May. So this game, Marvel Future Fight, does a great job of synergizing with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with the movie, the TV shows, and with the comic books. So I will make future videos as soon as I possibly can. I want to get it out sooner than later of what kind of content I expect this game to have. It already has quite a roster, but let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So first off, again, the Guardians of the Galaxy movie is coming out very soon, in a few months. So we already have quite a few characters in the game, like Gamora, StarLord, the whole cast, and then there's Nebula and Ronin, and what else is going to happen. So like I said, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is synergized very well with this game, and as far as new content goes, I do expect quite a bit to come based off of the movie and just based off of the Guardians of the Galaxy themselves. So before we do anything else, let's first talk about StarLord. My StarLord's not impressive, though I'm probably going to do Shadowlands tonight and get him to 6 stars very soon. But as far as StarLord goes, I believe that we are not going to see that much of a difference as far as movie synergy. With StarLord, unfortunately, the problem with him is that, yes, he has a slightly new costume in the movie, but it's really just a shortening of this jacket. It just goes to waist high. There's not really much of a real difference there, so I don't really expect that costume to make it into this game. It just doesn't make sense for them to put that much effort into just cutting the jacket and charging another 1250 crystals. So what I do expect, however, is to make up for that shortfall, to make up for not being able to do much with the costumes. I actually think they're going to go back to the comic books and have his classic costume. So if you don't know, the Guardians of the Galaxy, they do have like uniforms that are uniform, where they all have the same pretty much uniform. They have a blue suit, and it's usually a red line going through the middle. It's goes up from the side, it goes across and goes down. And generally Rocket, Star-Lord, Groot wear that uniform, and I think that that's something that they could do for Star-Lord. Not only just put that costume in the game, it's very iconic for the character, so it makes sense to do, but it also gives an opportunity to change some of his skills to make him more of a usable, playable character. Because for the most part right now, Star-Lord is only really used for his leadership, which is a great leadership to have. Which right now I don't have them fully done, but it gives blast heroes a increased energy attack. When it's fully done, I think it goes up to 45%. I could be wrong on that, but That's pretty much all you use StarLord for. He's very low damage. He's not all that useful outside of that. So his moves aren't all that great. His six-star skill, yeah, is pretty awesome, but that's it. So with a new costume, especially with a classic nature of it, they can change some of these skills around. Like this gravity grenade, maybe they just pop that out for something else. But it just presents a new opportunity to rebalance StarLord and make him more of a premium character. That's pretty much all I think for StarLord there. I want to move on to Rocket and Groot, however, if I can find it. There he is. So with Rocket, it's kind of the same deal. His costume, it does not change very much in the movie, and it just doesn't make sense to do. So the only one thing I think that they could possibly do is, like I said, give him the classic costume, the blue with the red, and have some more synergy with Groot. There's a whole nother thing as well, because Groot in the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 movie is going to be a baby Groot the entire movie. Maybe he turns big at the end, but for the most part he's going to be baby Groot for much of the movie. So they could possibly, because I don't think they'll make baby Groot a playable character, nor do I think they'll make baby Groot a skin for, or a uniform for regular Groot, but they could make him a part of a new Rocket skin, or a new Rocket uniform that changed some of Rocket's skills around. His 6-star skill does bring out Groot, and it's a part of a heal, but I think maybe they can change that to make it more of an attacking thing, or I don't know, something cute and fun. But that's a possibility of what they can do with Rocket. Outside of that, there's just not that much to him. His current uniform versus his all new, all different, even that's not all that different from each other. See, the gun changes and a little bit of the clothing, his face, but it's really not that big of a deal, not that big of a change. So I think that's pretty much the only thing they can do with Rocket. And like I said already with Groot, I think the baby Groot is not something that they can really do as far as a new uniform. He's not really a combatant sort of character. However, you can see we already have these two uniforms here, or the one uniform in the default. This is based off of the movie. This is the Guardians of the Galaxy Groot movie version. This is from the comics. This Secret Wars Thor's is from the comics, but it's kind of a niche Thor. Is kind of a special Thor as far as the comic book version. It is very brief in appearance. I really actually don't understand why they put it in the game, but it has its functions. Whatever. As far as Groot goes, he again has that classic costume in the blue and with the red stripes, and that's another opportunity they have to do something different with Groot, to add to his skills or give him some more comic book feel, make him more threatening, imposing, because his face is completely different in the comic books. His entire head is completely different in the comic books. So possibly if they put that in the game, one, I'd welcome it, but I think that's something that they can do with Rocket, with Groot, and with StarLord, is give them that classic costume look. Now moving on, Drax is right here. You can see when I started playing this game, I did not do a lot with farming the Guardians of the Galaxy. I wasn't all that impressed, and I'm still not. But with Drax, there really isn't much difference. Again, with his new costume in the movie, his pants change color. That's literally the only difference. So it would make no sense for them to put a new costume based off the movie. And the other uniform that he has here is pretty close to what his classic look is. It's not exactly the same because he doesn't have this gigantic sword behind him. That's just his all new, all different look. The classic one would just probably have knives, similar to the movie, but I don't think they would go in that direction, honestly. And honestly, I also think they're just not going to do anything with Drax at all. He'll probably stay this way. We'll see. I hope they do something, but it just doesn't feel like he's actually the least popular character of the Guardians of the Galaxy. It hurts to say, but I don't see anything happening with him. But we're gonna come back to Drax in a little bit. We're gonna briefly mention him. Lastly, though, of the main cast is Gamora. Now, I concentrated on Gamora, and I don't regret it, but she's still not all that great. Anyway, as far as Gamora goes, she already has, as far as costumes go, she has the original Guardians of the Galaxy movie look, and she's got this all new, all different, which is based on the Black Vortex, which is really sweet. I really love this costume, the way it looks. As far as the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 movie, Volume 2, she does have a new costume. It does look different than this. It's a different color scheme, though it's not something that's so stand out that it has to be in this game. Sure, they can put in as a additional uniform, but I really don't see that happening. So Gamora's classic look is pretty much this all new, all different look, just without all of the galaxy inside there. So I don't think they're gonna go that route. However, if you're gonna give Gamora a new look, I do think they're gonna go with the Gamora that was, I believe, in the Brian Michael Bendis run of comics, where it was more like an armor looking thing, and she had a gun. So she would use swords and she had gunplay, and I think that's another opportunity for Netmarble to say, okay, let's take this opportunity and make Gamora different, or a little better, or more usable, more of a premium hero, because now we can take this gun. Now she has range attacks and she has melee attacks. They could possibly take the gun and give her an iframe and have her jump in the air or something like that. It's just an opportunity to rework these skills and to make her more of a viable character, to make her worthy of being an honor token hero, because you get her bios from the honor store. So basically you play timeline and you can get the bios for Gamora. So those characters that are in there, Captain Marvel, Gamora, and Warwolf, Captain Marvel's pretty damn good, and they've reworked her and they made her even better. Warwolf still could use some help, but he's still very useful because of his buff that can be passed on to his teammates. So with Gamora, she really just doesn't have any use whatsoever. So giving her a costume like that, costume with the gun, and has the opportunity for that rework, and I think this can all drop with the movie, since the movie just doesn't do a whole lot with these characters in particular. Now, that's not everything though. That's just with these characters. There's still, within the movie, there's Mantis, although I will say Nebula is totally going to be in the movie, and she plays a big role. There she is. She plays a big role. Her costume does change a tad bit, but it's, again, not all that different from what it is right here. And the same cannot be said for Yondu, because he does have a different costume, but really the big difference with Yondu is that he has his horn. The original Guardians of the Galaxy, and what you can see here, he doesn't really have the big horn. They cut it off for the first movie, but he's been originally depicted with a big, large horn. So this is the all new, all different. He doesn't have that. So there's a chance that we can get a new Yondu costume that gives this man the big horn or hair or whatever the heck is supposed to be on top of his head sticking out, and have another costume or uniform for Yondu. But that's pretty much it for Yondu. I do hope they do something else with him, though. Also, in the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie, we have a new character, Mantis. Mantis in the comic books has gone through several iterations, and she's the same person, but as you can see in the movie, she has a lighter pigmentation, and the original depiction of Mantis in the comic books is the same skin tone. However, over time, she began to have a green pigmentation in her skin. So I think that's more the modern Mantis, and I think that maybe when we're gonna get this update, that she's definitely going to be in the game as a playable character, and she's going to probably have a default skin, a default look of the green skin Mantis, and then have a purchasable uniform of the lighter pigmentation, the movie costume. And if you don't know anything about Mantis, Mantis is pretty much a telekinetic. She's a telepath sort of powers. She is also very well capable in hand-to-hand combat, so I expect her to be very similar to Supergiant, maybe like a watered-down version of Supergiant. So you can expect that come May or something like that for an update with her. Well, another thing that's in the movie, another character that's in the movie that may or may not make its way into the game is Ego the Living Planet, which is just Ego, I guess. If we want to talk about just specifically the movie, he played by Kurt Russell, and he's going to be not a living planet. He's going to be actually walking around in flesh and blood. The way they explain it is that he's able to put himself into a construct, a human construct, a body. Like, he created his own body, so he has the ability to walk around, because just because he's a freaking planet doesn't mean he can do everything, because there's only so much you can do when you're that big. So he gets some smaller things done as a human, or just walking around as a humanoid, I should say. And eventually he found someone, and StarLord's mom, and boom, StarLord baby. So they may put him in the game. Depends on how well or how he is used in the movie, because I really don't know. I don't know if he's going to be slinging powers around and blowing stuff up, or if he's just going to have speaking parts and just be there to explain things. I'm not really sure. So we could get a Kurt Russell. I don't expect to be playing as a planet in this game, or I don't expect to see much of a planet in the movie, but that's beyond me. I don't know right at this point. Now lastly, before I go, I do want to mention a few other things that could still happen that are Guardians of the Galaxy related, because I think there's a whole another chance that we could get more content, because like I said, the movie itself doesn't do a whole lot for the Guardians as far as costumes. And remember, the Guardians of the Galaxy update, the original one, was the biggest and really the first update that came to the game that added new characters and costumes and so on. And I think it being pretty much a 2-year anniversary of the game when this movie drops, that they may have a very large update. And what I mean by that is they're going to add even more content. So I think there's a chance that we can get more characters to join the roster, and that in particular I think is first off, I want to say Nova. Now Nova is not going to be in the movie, but we already have the Nova Corps from the first movie, so it's an established part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The problem is James Gunn doesn't really like Nova, and he doesn't want him in the movie, so we're not going to get him in the movies at all. But it doesn't mean he can't be in the game. The real question is, are we going to get Sam Alexander, the Kid Nova, or are we going to get Richard Rider, the badass Nova that pretty much everyone loves? And whether we're going to get them at all, of course. Again, this is completely speculation, but I do believe that there's a strong chance that Nova makes his way into the game, because he's a big fan favorite. He does have a strong relation to the Guardians of the Galaxy, and a strong relation to all of the cosmic heroes and the cosmic things going on in the Marvel Universe, so it makes sense for him to be in the game. Another character that is very Guardians of the Galaxy related is Moondragon, and I clicked Drax here because Moondragon is the daughter of Drax, as far as I remember. If I remember correctly, Moondragon is the daughter of Drax, and she's again another psychic character like Mantis. I think she's a little bit more powerful in that regard, so I don't think she'll be having as much physical attacks as Mantis would. But again, another character that we could see come in, that she's not, as far as I know, not in the movie, but it could be part of the Guardians of the Galaxy update for Marvel Future Fight. It makes sense to me. There are other characters as well that are classic characters for Guardians of the Galaxy, like I believe his name is Vance Astro. I'm not huge into the Guardians lore, but there are other Guardians. The original Guardians of the Galaxy, I don't think they're all going to make this game. I don't think any of them are, but I think Moon Dragon and Nova have a very strong chance to make it in. But let me know, guys. Again, this is the first video. We're just talking about possible updates at this point, and I will make other videos covering the other Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff that's coming out, that is including Spider-Man, that's including Thor Ragnarok, that's also including the TV shows, Netflix shows, and the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff. And even beyond that, I'm going to get into the comic books. Like I said, it's going to be about a series or so of content. I'm going to try to get it out sooner than later, so it's not like prolonging over several months. But make sure you guys hit the like button on this video and share it. I appreciate it if you did. Hit me up in the comments, let me know what you think of this, and think of that possible content. What would you guys like to see in Marvel Future Fight that's based on the Guardians of the Galaxy? And in the next video will be about Spider-Man Homecoming. I'm going to try to get that out within the next week. If you have any questions, just hit me in the comments, and I would love to talk to you guys. Again, I play this game every single day, so I love to talk to you. And there will be other videos that are not just speculation. There will be advice and things like that about what can be done in the game. So I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure you subscribe, and I will see you then. Thanks.